What is shakin', Internet? This is Salts bringing you the How to Tank for Dummies Twin Consorts LFR guide. Twin Consorts is the 11th boss in the Throne of Thunder raid instance, and the penultimate, or next to last, for those of you who don't know what penultimate is, word of the day, penultimate, next to last, boss for the last quarter LFR instance named the Pinnacle of Storms. For those of you in queue or fighting trash, a quick synopsis. Kill the Beast of Nightmare that spawns in the night phase, and swap tanks for it. Tank swap Fan of Flames in the day phase. Tank the yellow/bright twin near the comet to reduce her damage in the third phase, and avoid fire and water moves. Okay, let's start on the real guide for dummies. First up is trash. The trash, again, is completely ignorable before these bosses. There's nothing too special about any of this trash, so just AoE it and move on. The twins are kinda easy, even though it's another 4-phase fight. At the beginning, you'll fight Lu Lin, the Dark Night Girl. She has a few moves, although only one really deals with tanks directly. Beast of Nightmares is a spell she'll cast every so often that summons an ad that fixates on her tank. At this point, you should swap tanks, because any healing to the fixated target will put a DOT on the healers that healed them. I don't think it's really a big deal in LFR, but it's nice to swap tanks here just in case to avoid all that damage. Additionally, the ad can only be damaged by the tank it fixates on, so switch your focus and kill it if it's fixated onto you, which means you were just tanking the boss. Great. The boss will also summon lotus flowers around the room. These flowers are not targetable and don't really act as ads or anything, but they send out little puffs of smoke that move very, very slow. If these incredibly small and slow-moving puffs, just to emphasize that, touch a raider, they'll fall asleep for 5 seconds. Woo! big deal. Cosmic Barrage is a move where she'll shoot stars out at random raid members, doing damage and knocking them back. Neither of these are really that problematic, just try not to fall asleep while fighting her. Haha, that's funny. Swin, the light/daytime girl, appears during the next phase. She actually appears during the first phase every once in a while as well. She'll do some moves that do random raid damage to members, but nothing truly significant. Only real thing to look out for in this phase is the Beast of Nightmares, and spread out if you can to avoid the AoE moves. Obviously, avoid the really, really, really slow-moving puffs of smoke. It's not that hard, people. Alright, now Phase 2. Phase 2 makes the Night Girl go away, and the Day Girl be the new boss. The biggest threat here is Fan of Flames, as it increases the amount of fire damage taken by the tank. Just swap out at 2 stacks, and you'll be fine. Suen, or the Light Girl, will also cast Flames of Passion, which is just a charge at a random raid member. But after the charge, she'll run back to the tank, dropping a trail of fire along the way. Don't stand in the fire. How obvious is that? Now, Blazing Radiance is a fun little mechanic that increases the amount of fire damage she does, and it continues to stack while you're fighting her. However, you as the tank can get rid of these stacks by dragging her close to Ice Comets. Ice Comets will appear every so often if the Night Girl is still alive. She'll come out and shoot them at random raid members. The comet will form after all the projectiles land, and if you stand close to this Ice Comet, it'll not only remove the stacks of the bonus fire damage from the Sun Girl, Suen, Suen, yeah, that's right. But it also reduces fire damage for players near it. So if you stand close to it, you'll actually take less fire damage, and it'll remove those stacks from her. So just stand close to them after they appear. The third phase happens a few minutes into the game, into the match, and basically it's dusk, and both bosses become active at the same time. They have completely separate health pools, so if you manage to kill one boss or the other in either of the first 2 phases, you'll skip this phase entirely. When either of the bosses die, you'll move on to the 4th phase, which is basically an extension of Phase 3 without the other boss. It's the exact same thing. Now, Phase 3 is pretty simple. Both bosses are up, and they do just a few moves. Night Girl will still summon the comets, and additionally she'll be doing Tidal Force, which sends out water waves. These are hard to avoid because they move kind of fast, but try to do so to avoid damage. If at all possible, avoid them. Now, Day Girl will be doing some random AoE, and get the fire damage buff stacks on herself, but she won't be doing that Fan of Flames anymore, so no tank swap is necessary. In fact, if you have both bosses available on Phase 3, one tank can be on one boss and the other tank can be on the other boss. Not a big deal. In fact, they can almost be tanked by the same person, but whatever. Honestly, this phase is as simple as avoiding the waves of water, group the bosses together, and burst them down. Keep Daygirl close to the comets if you can, but otherwise there's nothing else to keep track of in this phase. Maybe spread apart to avoid some fire AoE. The final phase is the exact same as the previous phase without one of the bosses. If you kill the Night Girl first, there won't be any more comets, so Daygirl will be doing a lot more fire damage on her AoE, because she'll be getting those stacks, and you can't get rid of them. But otherwise, nothing too threatening. If Daygirl goes down first, giggity, then Night Girl should be pretty much harmless outside of her water waves. So let's recap. Kill Beast of Nightmares if they fixate you in Phase 1. Switch tanks at 2 stacks of Fan of Flames in Phase 2. Keep Daygirl close to the ice comets if possible, and avoid fire and water waves. Extremely simple for a 3.5 phase encounter. That's all you have to do. And as you can see in the video behind me, we actually killed the first boss before we even got to the second phase. So we kind of skipped Phase 3 completely. It's really not that hard. I don't have any footage of the ice comets, and I apologize for that. But otherwise, very simple. Like I said, kill the Beast of Nightmares, switch tanks on the Beast of Nightmares, switch tanks on Fan of Flames, and keep the Fire Girl next to the Ice Comet if possible. There you go. Hopefully you've enjoyed this guide for Dummies. Please like, favorite, share, subscribe, and, as always, you keep it salty, Internet.